So I'm just trying to trust the charts. And because God is munificent, we have seen this absurd taco rally get blasted away already. And yeah, it is a glorious sea of red right now. So I'm feeling better. No shame this morning.
First of all, great call out on Band of Brothers. That is a phenomenal was like a menu series.
It's amazing I took this long to watch it. It is ridiculous. I don't know when it was produced, but it's like, this is exactly the kind of thing I like. I've heard about it, a gazillion times. Like, this is the greatest thing ever made. And finally I'm watching it. It's like, geez. But yeah, finally getting into it.
Yeah, it's really good. Second of all, we love hearing your perspective on here because we tend to lean pretty bullish. But we also have find other ways to offset that. But it's always good to hear you. And case in point, this chart you got up right here, you were spot on this one from the beginning. Tell us about that one.
Well, this is crude oil, and this is an interesting thing. And the thing with charts is that you must not get hung up. The proverbial you mustn't get hung up on like if it crosses like 1 pixel, it's all over, etc. These things, they're not iron rods, they're rubber bands. And so like the trend line on crude oil here, we see that on Thursday it pushed above it. But what was interesting is instead of following through on that on Friday, it got repelled, it kind of got dragged back down. So if you think of this as like a sheet of rubber instead of steel, we got pushed back on Friday, and sure enough, poing, down we go today. But I like to think of this as like it's a little bit of a tell, I believe. The fact that oil had enough strength to pierce it in the first place, repelled or not, indicates that, not to anthropomorphize the instrument too much, but it wants to go higher. It did push above that. It's trying to go higher. I would not be at all surprised in, say, a month from now, even 2 weeks, for this to be a meaningful, maybe in the triple digits, So it's a failed breakout, but it's still, and it's not clear enough for me to trade it. I'm still not touching energy because, obviously this is loaded with uncertainties with the Iran situation. But if pressed, I would say this is more likely to be up than down in a couple of weeks.
I touched it because when it hit 93.5 and it faded and it couldn't hold, I was like, you know what? That might be it. All we need is some news. Well,
yeah. And weekends are prime time for news. Speaking of news, I wanted to just touch on our poor beleaguered friend SpaceX. This poor thing, goodness gracious. And it's funny too, because you guys lean bullish. I obviously lean very bearish, and I've never shorted this thing. Even though it does nothing but go down. But the funny thing is they're just dying for some good news. And on Friday evening, and I was born in the 60s, so I'm like got NASA and spaceships like fused into my head. So anything to do with rockets, I'm interested in. So I watched the launch on Friday night, and it was a great success. And I figured, the poor fellows are finally going to get a break. We'll probably have a little rally to celebrate on Monday. Nope, more lifetime lows. So this thing can't cut a break. Talk about a trend. That is just smooth. We're going to be in double digits for long if this keeps up. It's just sad.
Remind us of those dates again, because like Chris Vecchio said this recently, nobody wants to be exit liquidity in this name, but due to August.
Right.
That's kind of what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Right?
So the key dates are next Tuesday, the 4th. After the close, they get earnings. And August 11 is when I thought the first lockup was. Our family's financial advisor said the 6th, which I don't think is right. And the reason where there was a discussion is like, do you want to sell any of this stuff? It's like, no, this poor thing, not at these levels. So, but I think it's the 11th. And the funny thing about that day is that, it's 20% will be unlocked. And had the stock been above, I think 170, it would have been a 30% unlock. They're not going to have that problem because in the first few days when it did blast higher, it's like, wow, 30% will come free on August 11. That's not the case. But this could be, this could be one of those weird situations in which it's kind of like the converse of sell the news, because everyone knows that unlock's coming. That's part of the selling pressure, I think, just this fear of like, holy God, everyone's going to just cash out. It could be odd. I would not be at all surprised to see that lockup date come and the stock rally just out of the blue. Mm-hmm. Just because that's, markets It's like the old saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. It's kind of like that with the stock market. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see the unlock date come and it actually goes up just to mess with people's heads.
Yeah, I think we could easily see something like that. We've seen crazier things before. But yeah, in the short term, it's creating a lot of anti-buzz for long-term bulls.
Yes.
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we will
Well,
see.
I got a perfect chart to kind of, and I did a little video on this recently. It's like, when's it going to stop? When's it going to stop? You know, I don't think it's going to go to $5. I don't even think it's going to go to 50. But I think in terms of perspective, and I when I did that video about SpaceX way before the IPO, the only analog I could come up with is Meta. Because it's like charismatic founder, everyone's talking about it, everyone's excited about it. It's a big part of the social culture. What did Meta do? They bombed. They came out at 45, they went to 17. And it took about 17 months for those who bought at the IPO to even get flat, get even on their bet. And so Meta sucked. It lost about 2/3 of its value in the first few months. It's like, well, wow, Zuck's really a genius, huh? Well, you know what? Long term, it went up 4,200% after that. So this is kind of what's going on. This is kind of what I thought would happen with SpaceX, you know, because like you don't get this kind of hype. You're not going to go to from 135 to 500. And so we're seeing that. I mean, it's sucking wind just like Meta did. The question is, when does it finally bottom out? And I imagine, as with Meta, there'll be someday, it could be several quarters from now, where they come out with earnings that's like, wow, and then you gap higher, and then kind of there's no looking back. But I certainly think it's going to keep going lower for a while and probably won't bottom for many, many months.
Yeah, you know, you're right. It does have that similar look. Before you leave, we got to get your thoughts on today's move. I mean, this is quite the reversal.
Oh, sure. Glad to. Shall I just hop to the NQ? Because that's kind of my go-to chart these days. This is really interesting stuff. Whoa, okay. Yeah. See, I didn't even see this happen yet. All right, let's review. So for a while there, we were trapped in these ranges, particularly this range. And the big shift happened on this day. We finally cut below. And again, going back to my point about like it's not exactly to the pixel, you know, there's some violations here and there, but on the whole, you know, 90% of the trading activity was between this kind of orange and blue level here. It finally pierced it here. And since then, we've been banging between these two levels. Now, what happened on Friday, and I talked about this in my afternoon show, was we were right at the cusp of failing support. And I'd said facetiously, well, no, semi-facetiously, that, you know, this might be a great time to just run around and buy every tech stock with the ticker symbol because we're at support right now. And for the first half hour, that was absolutely true because it wasn't, an hour ago, this was a big old green bar. We went roaring higher on this, and you can see we were higher today than we were on any time on Friday. But what's happening right this second is we have broken support for the first time. So we're trading the same levels now that we were trading early in May. So this failure, coupled with, if I switch charts for a sec here, coupled with SMH, I think can lead to a really potent potential, because I'm doing some crazy things. I mean, you guys are options guys, you're gonna smack me across the face with this one. I bought STX puts last week. Is that stupid? You know, paying sky high volatility, all that, you know, it's like, but it's doing great. I probably will scurry out of it before earnings tomorrow, but there's some really serious breakdowns going on now. Look at WDC, look at SNDK, on and on. All these like exceptional stocks that did nothing but go up until about a month or so ago. They're getting, you know, bombed right now. So yes, we failed the NQ, and we are about to fail SMH. I don't know if you gentlemen saw it, but there's a story this morning that, you know, there's all this circular financing, and the latest one is Nvidia is saying they'll backstop $250 billion for OpenAI to build out their data center. So the house of cards is like in the ionosphere right now. It's a one wrong stumble, and wow, this is a really big deal what we're seeing.
Yeah, SMH is sitting at the lows of the last couple of weeks here, pretty close to it at 540-ish. And yeah, the Nasdaq and E-minis just ticked red. We were talking about it this morning that crude oil being down and the E-minis and Nasdaq ripping higher doesn't change the fact that all these tech stocks are going to give us their capex this week, and I think that could move the needle. And it seems the market is well aware of that. Right
Well, green as the morning was, and I was scared to pieces. I mean, it's been worse, but I had 43 positions. I got stopped out of two. And it was like, all right, that's not too terrible, but it was all green, and now it's almost all red. So we're definitely, I don't know what happened in the past hour. There may not even be any news driving it. I
think there is.
But we've seen you don't see shifts like this hardly ever this quick.
Yeah. What a wild day. Tim, love your insights. Appreciate you. We'll see you a little bit later.
Okay, see you guys.
See ya. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
E-minis down 5 now. Nasdaq down 200. Jamal and I were both filled, I believe, on the SPX trade. So I closed out of mine for a $500 winner. You were likely a very similar price point. So we will post those to the follow page. But yeah, wow, what a reversal in the first hour of trading here.
Yeah. I mean, we could kind of feel it this morning, and this is I mean, it's clear too. By the way, that the Russell and the Dow are still up. I don't know if this is a potential interest rate situation. That's usually what we see. And you see that bifurcation with Nasdaq and S&Ps down or up, and Russell and the Dow doing the opposite. But one thing is clear: people are de-risking a little bit ahead of what's going to be a huge week of earnings and of macro events. So that's definitely the case.
Yeah, absolutely nuts. But this is the crazy week that we expected. Join us on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're going to take a quick 90-second break. We'll see you on the other side of it. You're watching Tasty Live.